Hello and welcome back to JPzilla. Okay, so I just watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and it was kinda amazing. Good on Sony for showing Disney how it's done. Anyway, I've also been studying Singular Point lately, like I've got to test an archetype in advanced quantum physics class. I get the weirdest fixations sometimes. And I started to notice that there has been a major trend towards reality-breaking antagonists in the new Roaring Twenties, which gave me an idea. What if these two reality-breaking, skyscraper-sized, oh yeah, that was a thing in the concept art, characters went head-to-head, and who could break the other's reality first? Godzilla Ultima will be going up against the Spot in this video to see who is crowned the king of the multiverse. Okay, so if you have seen my Ultraman vs Superman and Godzilla vs Ultraman videos, you may be expecting a breakdown according to the 5 attributes of strength, speed, durability, battle experience, and special abilities. But all of those go out the window when talking about either of these two eldritch horrors. What does durability matter if you can't even land a hit on the Spot? Or speed when Godzilla is an immovable object? So in this video, we will be gauging these characters simply on the basis of special abilities, i.e., how bad can they mess up the multiverse? Without further ado, let's get started. First up is the Spot. The Spot is Miles Morales' self-proclaimed arch-nemesis, capable of creating a pocket dimension which allows him to travel to any universe he wants to. His spots are wormholes which can transport him anywhere he wants to across the landscape, within and without the universe, and can even redirect hits back at his opponents. He may also be able to break reality, and here's why. Across the Spider-Verse implies several times that it is in the same multiverse as the MCU, and by MCU logic, the Spot would be an incursion, which means that his presence on another universe would cause its collapse into the Spot's native universe. How does that work? No idea. Maybe characters who travel across universes like the Spot or Doctor Strange have some kind of strange gravitational pull on their native universe of origin, which causes said universe to collide into the one they are visiting. But that's just a theory. Anyway, the questions we have to ask now are, how powerful are the Spot's holes? And can they be expanded to swallow something as big as Godzilla? Fortunately for Spot, we did see an instance where he was able to create a massive, about Godzilla-sized wormhole in Moonbatan, but it is a massive wormhole enough to stop Godzilla. Well, let's find out. Moving on to Godzilla's Singular Point, where Godzilla's greatest foe is geometry? Seriously, it seems like Godzilla's greatest motive is just to break the laws of physics. For instance, a triangle doesn't even add up to 180 degrees anymore in his near vicinity. And I know this is a really weird detail, but it really just shows how much this Godzilla's mere presence distorts our own reality. How does that work? Well, this version of Godzilla is from another universe, or half of him is. A universe with its own set of laws and its own version of symmetry which does not correspond with our own. Godzilla is the Singular Point, meaning he has control over a substance called archetype, which often presents as a cloud of monster-producing, reality-breaking red dust which Godzilla generates from his being. Archetype is the key to Godzilla's powers here, so just bear with me as we go deep into the timey-wimey spaghetti bowl that is Archetype. Archetype is a fourth-dimensional construct, meaning it literally transcends time. Using the archetype, energy such as light or coded information such as an upgrade to Jet Jaguar encrypted in the form of a song, can be transmitted from the future to the past and vice versa. This is actually what makes Godzilla's atomic breath so powerful. See those manila-like rings? That's not just an effect. That's a closed time-like curve. Essentially, Godzilla is transporting energy from his atomic beam from the future into the past, compounding the strength of his beam exponentially. Using this archetype, Godzilla can cause time to collapse in on itself and for multiple timelines to exist at the same time, as seen when there appears multiple versions of the AI Pelops 2 from different timelines because time was collapsing around itself. This is the catastrophe which is supposed to destroy the universe. Yeah, Godzilla is basically folding time into a pretzel now. Who would have figured? He also has precognitive abilities, as shown when Godzilla literally shot out blood tentacles to smother a bomb that was dropped on him. Apparently, according to exposition, Godzilla had been altering the composition of his tissue to prepare for just such an attack before the attack was even launched. So that when the first bomb opened up a wound on his back, his blood just kind of knew what to do, like it was programmed that way from the start. By the way, I'm making none of this up. This literally comes directly from the exposition in the show. That means that Godzilla can not only distort the future, but predict it as well, and come up with a response beforehand. What does this mean for the Spot? Well, it would mean that if you opened up a portal in front of Godzilla, Godzilla would probably know better than to fall into it, and if the Spot planned to redirect Godzilla's beam at him using a wormhole, Godzilla probably just wouldn't fire. The only way the Spot could defeat Godzilla is if Godzilla had absolutely no way to counter. Just like the precognitive Anguirus and the harpoon he was forced to take point blank. Even though multiple singular points had been observed on Earth, such as the one that the time-transcending supercomputer Shiva feeds off of, or Salunga, another monster that emits red dust, there's only one real singular point, which the others are connected to through space-time. Presumably, this singular point is Godzilla. This means that not only can Godzilla produce red dust through his main form, but also through Salunga, the Shiva supercomputer, and even the skeleton of his past incarnation. That's right, Godzilla now has a reincarnation cycle like the Avatar. Speaking of reincarnation, Godzilla can be killed, but he always comes back stronger. And that's because as Godzilla continuously reincarnates, with each form he learns how to control the archetype a little better each time, gaining more control over space-time and the fourth-dimensional construct. In addition to destroying time and creating puppet creatures like Salunga, he's also terraforming the planet to his own liking, and it's even implied that after he destroys our universe, he plans to make another one. And considering he's likely responsible for the creation of the kaiju, this easily indicates that he can just straight up create matter. Honestly, at this point, Godzilla has more reality-altering powers than the Scarlet Witch, and that's saying a lot. So, who's winning this fight? Godzilla, obviously. The only thing I can see the Spot actually doing to hurt Godzilla is creating a portal around Godzilla's head and closing it to decapitate him Doctor Strange style. But I don't think Godzilla's precognition would let that happen. The Spot could try trapping him inside his pocket dimension, but that's not exactly the most secure prison, and Godzilla would probably just escape to a different universe and become an incursion. Then he would quickly be able to destroy the universe in two different ways. Also, since Godzilla is already from a different universe, he could potentially find a way back to the Spots, maybe just by creating another avatar form to attack with. Either way, the Spot has no way to stop Godzilla, but does Godzilla have a way to stop the Spot? I don't know. If we're talking about the version of the Spot that we saw throughout most of the movie, then definitely. This villain, while partially intangible, could clearly still take physical damage from the Spider-Men, and doesn't even seem to have super resilience. Remember, the Spider-Men, in spite of being strong, hold their punches. So if Godzilla used his atomic breath on him, it would be game over. But what about the black-colored Spot he becomes after absorbing 2 more dimension gates? In his first form, the black parts were the intangible wormholes. So does that mean that the new Spot is now completely intangible? Would Godzilla's atomic beam be able to do anything to him? A lot of questions for Beyond the Spider-Verse to answer. After doing a little more research, there are supposedly rumors that the Spot is turning into another Marvel character known as the Abyss through the expansion of his powers. Now, take these rumors with a grain of salt, as I wasn't able to validate the reliability of this X-user, but the image of a kaiju-sized Spot is very real, and does indeed bear a strong resemblance to the Abyss. And Looper seems to be taking him seriously, so maybe it lends him some credibility? I don't know, so let's just roll with it. After doing some research on the Abyss character that this evolution of the Spot is supposed to be inspired by, I think Godzilla can still kill this version of the character, and here's why. The Abyss, according to the Marvel database, was killed by a world-destroying bomb which was teleported into his dimension. This bomb, while powerful, was not stated to have any mystical properties by the Marvel database. And if the rumors are true and this version of the Spy is influenced by this character called the Abyss, then that means he may still be susceptible to physical damage just like the Abyss is. Also, keep in mind that the Spy hasn't reached kaiju size yet, so his durability may not have reached any kind of amplification as of now. Now, looking at the movie, there is nothing to indicate that the Black Spot, or the Abyss as we're calling him now I guess, has superhuman endurance, so I think that Godzilla's beam should be able to kill the Spot. That is, if comic book logic applies here, I don't know. Using a comic book that probably isn't canon to the movies probably isn't the strongest argument, but there's so much that we don't know about this version of the Spot yet, so this is my working theory until further notice. Either way, only Godzilla is confirmed to be able to survive the death of the universe, and not as much is said about the Spot. So if Godzilla were to destroy a universe, there is a good chance he could take the Spot down with it. Well, Spot can't stop Godzilla, and at this point it is very questionable if Godzilla could kill the Spot. So let's end with one tie-breaking question. Who could destroy the universe the fastest? In regards to how long it would take the Spot to destroy a universe, that depends on whether the destructive event counts as breaking a canon event or as an incursion. Miguel O'Hara postulates that the destruction of his alternate self's family's universe was due to the fact that he broke a canon event by taking his dead counterpart's place, i.e. something that was predestined to happen according to the grand timeline. But what this event actually was is never specified. The point is, however, that characters from a different universe, such as Miguel, seem to have a high chance of breaking canon, accidentally or intentionally. The MCU, which I already pointed out is canon to Sony's Spider-Verse, has a different explanation for why a character foreign to a certain universe would cause its destruction. An incursion, which basically means that someone from a different universe spending too much time in a universe not his own would cause his universe of origin and the one he is in right now to collide into each other. Since we don't actually know how long it takes for an incursion to be triggered, let's take a look at how long it would take a canon event to destroy the universe. And for that, let's travel to Earth 42. On Earth 42, we can see that a canon event has already been broken because the spider, which was supposed to bite this version of Miles Morales, never bit him, and he became the Prowler instead of Spider-Man. Assuming Miguel is right in his assertion that breaking canon dooms the timeline to collapse, which is iffy, but is the best we have to work with, this would mean that canon has been broken for around a year, since this happened at Into the Spider-Verse, which takes place a year before Across the Spider-Verse. In contrast, the time between Godzilla's appearance in his Aquatos form to the catastrophe is about a week, give or take, so Godzilla easily destroys the universe the fastest. But what do you think? Do you think Godzilla could kill the Spot as I theorized, or do you think the Spot could pull off a portal decapitation like Doctor Strange? And which one do you think would destroy the universe the fastest? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.